Hello everybody, it's me, it's Obley. Today I'm bringing you a 19 Halls of Atonement key. This key was a bit of a blaster one, actually. So we're going to set up by just gripping this guy, trying to at least get close. And get close again, grip one more time. Now I'm going to empower and pot, then we're going to blast. No trinket to start this off with, so it's kind of sad. Just trying to get into a good position where everything's cleaving. To be honest, I don't think that was a very good position. I feel like the damage is a bit shit, and that's because the positioning was crap, but doesn't matter. Just staying on the Helm Master just because I am conscious of getting the interrupt, making sure it's done properly. We do have an Arcane Mage who's going to funnel into the Shard, so it doesn't really matter too much if I'm not pumping it, but I also want to grip these toiling groundskeepers so that they don't pull that slasher off to the left. Got my broadcasting mic today, so hopefully sound is a little bit better. But yeah, this was a decent key. Level 19, was slowly climbing. Got a 20 done today as well. Not this key, but it will be a key that I will upload. But it was a 20 gambit. I just uploaded a gambit, so I don't really want to upload another one. But I'll get through a couple of 19s before I do that 20. Might even get an interesting 20 done before then. Because to be honest, basically the same key. Kind of boring. Anyway, this pack is disposed of relatively fast. We get 2 cooldowns used as well. It's always on these high level keys, there's almost always 2 cooldown usages, 1 big burst and then 1 45-second burst. It's pretty nice. Now, I was a bit conscious of these Gargants because I was worried that they might pull that Stone Slasher, but I don't actually think they do, because they path a little bit funny. Now I'm going to focus one of these Helm Masters, grip them into position. Not friendly position to be honest, but I'm on Moon. It's kind of annoying. I thought my grip was ready, so I got into position to grip it. And it didn't, but then things just didn't work out. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I was saving my burst there because at no opportunity was that going to be a good position to burst. I want to make sure that these Helm Masters are deep in the pack so that I can cleave everything and not just burst them on their own. I would have gripped that other guy as well, but not going to lie, in my burst window, not going to do that. I would literally just be doing that for DPS. And cleave. But anyway, we dispose of this pack relatively fast as well. Damage is pretty decent. They jump so far, those Helm Masters, don't they? Once they're dead, we're going to chain the next pull. This guy dies as well. And here we are, so looking at my cooldowns. I've got Pillar coming back, I've got Reapers coming back. I wanted to quickly just spend those Killer Machines to extend that Bone Grinder, because it was its 2 and it was about to expire. So I'd spent that before I then burst afterwards to complete the Bone Grinder and make it time really nicely with Reaper. So now I am going to target the Shard because there's nothing else really better to target than the Shard as my main target. And as Frost DK, you do actually have okay main target damage. You don't have Arcane Mage or DH Funnel, but you do have good main target damage. I'm making sure I get my Empowering Weapon off the end of those Bone Grinder 5 stacks if I can, if I'm not going to do anything else. That's 20% increased damage to my Frost Scythe with a Killer Machine proc. Definitely worth it. And then proc it. So I'm looking at the pack here. I'm thinking, yeah, it's healthy enough. But I didn't really want to delay this burst because of how we're pulling later on. So I thought, I've got Bone Grinder. I was like, fuck it, I'll just do it. I'll see if I can pop my Reaper's Mark quick enough in that Bone Grinder buff. Yeah, it worked out all right in the end. The Shard is down. And now we're going to do a spicy pull. I could have probably done just a Pillar, looking back at it now, and kept my breath for this. I think that's what I would have done. Now we're pulling the 3 collectors that were on the boss, so for extra count as well. Now when these guys die, they'll give a little bit of extra count. We need to pull less upstairs, because upstairs is horrible compared to this pull down here. We have a lot of stops, and we have a prop paladin, so it's quite easy to keep these under control. Mage gets double siphon life there. And I send a little cheeky blind to stop them. Now, there's not really much going on here. We just rhyme and kill a machine. Just rhyme and kill a machine. But we don't have breath, so we can't do anything spectacular on this pull. We're literally just doing our normal Pillar Window, but our Pillar Window hits so hard. Pillar Window is what makes Frost DK do a shitload of consistent damage every 45 seconds. Breath is fine, but it's nothing compared to, well, it's nothing if it's not paired with Pillar of Frost and Reaper's Mark. With the increased crit from Reaper's Mark, the increased just cooldown of... Oh, increased cooldown. Increased damage you get from using your cooldown Pillar of Frost. Does that make sense? I don't know. I don't care. Now, I do have Breath for this. And this is a relatively big pool. With 10 stacks of Nether Prism as well. Interrupt that. I didn't do it. Somebody else did. I like to try and keep my interrupt for the Loyal Beast. I'm going to grip that in. And make sure everything is stacked before I go to burst. Realise I didn't actually have enough runic power. Silly sausage, but I just cast it anyway. It's a bit annoying when cooldowns get a little bit delayed like that, but just have to keep a better eye on it. I'm trying to keep a nice position so I can make everything cleave. I'm going to try and grip this guy in. Bosh. Easy peasy. I was being targeted there, and if I wasn't focused on doing damage, I should have really AMS'd and absorbed that Wicked Bolt. That little weaker I've got in the middle showed me when I'm being targeted, and it's super helpful. I'm going to fucking miss that in midnight, I tell you, for free. Fucking hate that. I'm not looking forward to losing all my add-ons. I love the way my game looks. Over the course of 15 years of playing WoW, I have crafted my UI to look exactly how I like it, and now it's gone. Super upsetting. Okay, so the mobs here are pretty dead. I was thinking, I'm not too sure if I want to send a pillar window here, because the next mobs, I was actually almost certain we were going to chain as well, but I then end up sending really late. Fucking, this was a terrible pillar usage. I should have either done it as soon as the cooldowns came back, or saved it for this, because now I got very bad usage from that. Not great. But I also should have been targeting that Halkias. But I am now, so forgive me. But things are fine. Okay. We do have breath coming back soon, and annoyingly, if I'd have done that fucking pillar when it was back, I could breathe right now, and it'd actually be a good breath usage. But now I'm going to get a breath off. It's a little bit, not quite as apex as it should be, but everything's still relatively healthy, so it's fine. We got our Reaper's Mark off on a nice time as well, and we spent both of our exterminates within the bone grind of 5 stack 2, so we can't complain. There we go, everything dead. 3 minutes on Bloodlust, potion's been used. Mount up, and let's go. Alright, now we're going to skip this Houndmaster pack, and I'm clenching my bum here, bum cheeks. Oh, don't pull. You're going to pull those Toiling Groundskeepers and pull these depraved freaks onto the boss. So the boss is taking a little while to get to spawn. Let the tank get a little bit of aggro there. And I'm just going to save my pillar for when the boss is actually here, because I don't really want to kill these super fast anyway. No one does. We want the funnel. So once they're in position, I'm going to grip that guy and then go back to the boss and burst. Now we're pumping. We're not quite Echelon pumping, but we are pumping. Toiling guys, I'm trying to control them a little bit. Probably don't actually need to. Looking back at it, I'm probably wasting GCDs there by gripping them back when they'll probably just come back. And then I'll provide more funnel. It's sad that we don't have breath. If we had breath for that, then maybe we'd be laughing. But we don't. But we are going to pull some more funnel onto the boss, I'm pretty sure. And then I'll have breath for that. I'm just wondering if I hold or not. I'm also holding my empowering weapon charges for my burst too. God, I'm really hot. Yeah, so in the end the call was we're not putting in a funnel. Did I even it's like I don't even know this key. As soon as I don't do this, as soon as I give it like one day, I completely forget what actually happens in keys. I should do a live commentary. I should start doing live commentaries more. I always do the voiceovers, but it's easy to do. The live commentaries, I like to speak a lot. Okay. Getting gapped on DPS right now. But it's fine. This is the longest part. Fuck me. I'm really hot. I'm taking my bloody jumper off. Oh. God damn. Hoppy strip. Well, there's absolutely nothing to talk about because this boss is literally a tank and spank. It's fine. So now the toiling groundskeepers have been pulled. I'm going to put my pillar and Reaper's Mark and everything and get the funnel that they provide. Now my burst is 32% stronger than it would have been otherwise. Get into a nice position so my Glacial Advances can cleave, so my Frost Sides can cleave. And carry on. Saving my Empowering Weapons for that as well, because an Empowering Weapon used on AoE is better than an Empowering Rune Weapon used on single target. Get more damage for that button being pressed. That Heaving Debris does actually quite a fair amount of damage. Good thing I used a CD. Okay, boss is on 20%. Now would be a good opportunity to think, right, am I going to pop my full burst here? Or am I going to put my small burst here? Small burst. Definitely saving, because the next pull is going to be a massive pull. Pull with Bloodlust, pull with stacks. It's not worth doing a breath here, for sure. You have other classes in this group, in this comp, doing more single target damage, so they can handle that. But you would not hold pillar. You never hold pillar. You always send pillar. Boss is now on 8%. All my small burst is done. And you're kind of rewarded as a Frost DK with Nether Prism by holding your burst because you get more Nether Prism stacks. So as long as you just send your pillar, you don't necessarily have to send your breath, but by sending your pillar, you're still going to keep up some decent damage, but then your burst afterwards is going to be even stronger with your breath and Nether Prism. Okay. Now we have absolutely everything. We'll have a potion as well. We're about to do some real big damn. So just holding on a little bit. I could have kept my cryogenic chamber as well if I just rhymed the Reaver, but I was scared of taking aggro. We have 16 stacks of Nether Prism. Let's send this burst home. So we're just spamming killer machines as soon as we get them, spending all of our cooldowns, just giving it to this guy. And you can see 60 million DPS here, 65 million DPS, 70 million. It's coming. There it is. 70 million damage on this pull. That is nuts. I think I could have even done more as well. There was a time where I wasn't in melee range, so I wasn't actually melee attacking, which is a bit annoying. If I had more Nether Prism stacks as well, that could have been heavier. But overall, if I had another embellishment maybe as well, because right now I'm fucking using one embellishment because I can't physically get another one just yet. Well, no, sorry, that's a lie. I'm using the Elemental Focusing Lens because I had to make a ring. And I'm fucking grinding, dude. If I had another crit embellishment, that would be sick. Doing some pretty decent damage, only wearing basically one embellishment though, because the Elemental Focusing Lens does dog shit damage. It does like 0.3% of my damage over a key. It is horrendous. Anyways, little pillar window as well. Chaining is very nice. Get to keep everything up. There we go. Making sure my bone grinder doesn't fall off. Bosh. Very easy to track for me, having it be in the middle of my screen. I don't really, as Frost DK, you really don't need to track a lot, but you do need to track bone grinder. And that aura that you can see in the middle next to the antenna is my bone grinder. So when it looks like that, when it looks like these bone shards, that is it stacking. And then when it goes into its normal icon that you see in the talent tree, that is the full stack. There you go, you can see it there. Decided to put my breath here because we are going to take this Stoneborn Slasher, so it does make sense. I'm trying to control these. Again, like I said before, probably not the best idea to be trying to control like that in my burst window, considering it doesn't really make that much of a difference. But this Slasher is going to last for a little while. We were trying a new route out this time around. So sadly, doing this single target damage is pretty shameful. Let me pull these guys. You might see on my nameplates, anything that's just kind of like a red or green is just like a normal mob that I don't really need to worry too much about. I don't need to pay too much attention to it. But then anything with a pink icon or pink bar, that's a spellcaster with an important spell that might need interrupting. Then I also have these dark blue bars as well, And the dark blue bars are priority targets, essentially. Something that I might want to nuke. Something that's a bit bigger than the rest. I think now I've changed it so the slashes are actually blue too. And then I've got, I don't think I have in this video anything else. I've changed anything else. Right, that slash is dead now. We're just going to go up and start the boss. I've got 10 seconds for my burst to come back. Ideal timings, really. Grip that guy. Grip that guy. Start the boss. So I'm going to save my cooldowns for the ads to spawn. Coming soon, I'm sure. There they are. Have some good bone grinder stacks as well, but sadly, I didn't have any runes. So I couldn't keep those bone grinder stacks going, which is annoying, because it meant my burst was a little bit shitter with Reaper's Mark. Didn't get targeted with this, so we don't have to worry about using a defensive for it, which is fine. But you do often have to use defensives when these imps die, because when the imps die, they do AoE damage. Now, I wouldn't suggest using AMS or anything like that, because when you get targeted by the leap, you can AMS the dot. So you want to save your AMS for that, basically, every time. Because the boss, if you didn't know, it leaves a little dot on you when they leap you. This leap that's coming soon. But I don't get it. I don't think. So that is the leap I mean. If that's on us as DKs, you can AMS a little bit before, and you'll be alright. The dot does hurt, especially on 1920. Alright. Now, it's really nice that our burst lines up with the ad phases pretty much consistently, but the first burst needs to be a tiny bit more just to stay consistent, because eventually you can't burst until a little bit into the ad waves, because you'll have like 5 seconds left of your pillar. That ring, I feel like the ring is so inconsistent. Sometimes like you can be on the little gargoyles and they don't crush him. He doesn't crush them. Sometimes it's completely fine. Right, we're looking at our cooldowns coming back now. We have everything, but you see, because I was a little bit late on my pillar, I don't have it until the middle of the phase. Here everything is dying. We're trying to stagger it a little bit. We have one little boy left. It's not the worst idea in the world to have one of these guys if it is better funnel for you, because the only thing they do really is tank damage. So you can leave one alive. Boss is quickly being dispatched. The next pool is going to be a lovely pool, but it is a little bit tough. So here, pre-AMS before I get the stun, and easy peasy. Could have pre-death advanced as well, but I didn't, because I like to make things harder for myself. Grip those guys in, and then do a little tiki burst. Keep my empowering weapons for inside my burst window, so that it makes my killing machines free. We're doing 10 mil right now. 10 milli damage on this boss. It's pretty decent. It's all because of the shaman buff. It is not. Okay. Come on, Obley, kill the boss. Let's move on. We're bored of this now. And there we go. So now I just want to save my cooldowns for when the ads are brought back out. Got a Stoneborn Reaver there. That is the priority target, as well as the Howl Masters. But I think I'm going to focus on the Howl Master. And try and grip. Get them in and get them back. But to be honest, you don't really need to play out here. We discussed afterwards that it's not really that big of a deal to bring them out, because to be honest, you don't really need the space. Because now that the Gargants don't, like, you have to interrupt the Loyal Beast, the Gargants don't really require kiting. So therefore, you can just keep them in there. You can just stay in that room. We did it again today, and it felt much better just keeping them in there. But nuking the Howl Master, doing some serious damn. Easy. Switch to the next Howl Master, then switch to the Reaver afterwards. But I think the Reaver actually might be dead. Looks like it. Done. Mage death. Nothing new there. Shock. Usual suspect. Now, these Gargans are kind of healthy. And realistically, we should have stayed and killed them. But you're going to see what happens next due to us not doing that. So let's go. Come on, Obley. Let's run up there. Interrupt that. We all have our own kicks assigned. I don't have any cooldowns, which is massive L. However, Gargans are still alive. Gargans have pulled the slasher. Not good. Now we've got fucking slasher, and the boss, and the ads, and some Gargans. Helvete good. Now I'm gonna burst. I'm gonna burst when it's safe. I've got every flipping debuff in this under the sun on me, and don't AMS any of it. But we were freaking out. Then I get this as well. I'm just thinking to myself, Christ, does it get any worse? Now, somehow, we have not died. Got Druid doing almost 5 million HPS. That's probably half of it. But then we've also got the tank doing 2.5 mil. Got a healer and a half here. We've got a lot of stops as well. But this slasher is super healthy. Jesus. Jesus Christ. You gotta stop that. Bring it back. Everything is slowly dying, and somehow we are staying healthy. Now, because there's so much shit going on, I'm not focused whatsoever on doing the right AMSs, because you can actually AMS before the unstable anima and absorb it. If you didn't know, if you didn't get unstable anima the time before, you will get it the next time. So you can preempt when you need to AMS. So for example, Shaman Dej, but Shaman will ank, so it's fine. Now this next unstable anima will actually go on me. Will I AMS it though? No. No. No, I eat that shit. Yeah, somehow this yeah. And we're back in the room. We've been fighting this boss for fucking ages. But we're here. Now, we were quite quick on doing our haunting fixations. So we're going to easily be able to keep up with the anima vessels, which is good. Oh. We're achy, boys and girls. Now, I want to burst here. And unfortunately... Oh. No. Fortunately, the ghost came to me, so I was able to double stack the my mastery buff, which is great. Now we have another one. Unfortunately, the mastery buff from using pillar has run out by the time that next one comes. Otherwise, you get 3 stacks. How adorable. But no, we can't. This boss takes fucking ages. See, the problem with now doing commentaries like this is the higher the key level, the longer encounters like this take. And there's only so much you can talk about in these encounters. But I'll find a way to waffle. Next anima vessel spawned. Boss is on 30% HP. He's in execute range now. This is ideal. Now, I am thinking about what I'm going to do in the next pool. Because this next room is pretty fucking huge. Can milk quite a lot of damage out of this next room. Haunting fixation on me. Get behind that vessel. Good job. Well done. Now, I'm definitely going to save cooldowns. The next cooldown window that comes, I can do a pillar. I will do a pillar. There's more than enough time for that. However, I don't think it's definitely not worth doing breath. Almost certainly worth saving that breath for this next room. As well as nether prism. As well as potion. All of that goodness. Now, Aleez is the king of not AMS and stuff. Now, I don't really take many interrupts here because it's much better for the paladin to take an interrupt, and it's much better for the shaman because the shaman gets damage reduction, paladin gets fucking everything. Damage, healing, reduction. What don't they get? So, we sent that pillar window, we kept our breath, and we have 10 stacks of nether prism. Now here we are. Going to find a nice little position to be able to cleave on the majority of these things. Now, because I don't have pillar or anything like that, we're going to wait for the Dark Communion. Now here you've got these ads. I feel like these ads like, there's got to be a way of being able to handle these ads a bit better. I don't know. Now we've got the display of power. Now I'm going to burst. Boy! Now, unfortunately, nothing's really too close by, but we got to kill this. We got to kill this in 6 seconds. Dark Communion coming up. There's Dark Communion in 13 seconds. No, there it is. Yeah, I thought so. Did some heavy damage in that little bit there. I'm trying to cleave and kill all these tormented souls. They do really need to die, because if they don't die and he only heals from them at 17%, he'll still spawn a manifestation of envy. Now, he won't heal as much from them, but he'll still spawn the ad. So it's worth just finishing them off, which I don't do here. Greeding. Dark Communion again, no mortal wound debuff. Fucking sucks. See how a manifestation of envy spawns full HP? Not ideal. There's only one tormented soul in the back there, so this is pretty much just kill time. This display of power debuff increases your damage done, so it is pretty big as well. He only healed 2%, 3%, 4% from that one tormented soul. And then finally he's dead. We lost quite a lot of time on this guy, I think. There's got to be a way we can do this better. But we're still doing alright. We've got 4.5 minutes, level 19 is fine. Boss isn't going to last that long. And we got funnel. My audio cut out just at the end there. How annoying. So I'm re-recording the boss fight. Fine. Let's go. So we have this full boss left to do. Do some pretty decent damage, all things considered. About 9.5 mil. Being able to cleave onto a second target is pretty big. All DPS cooldowns. Now, just trying to make sure that I'm not going to get hit by that. I wanted to see if I could cleave onto the ads that were running to us. But just as I was looking, there was an arrow blocking my path. So there's no way I was going to be able to make that happen. Annoyingly. So I'm going to wait for this Erupting Torment to finish. And then come back to the boss and cast Deathbringer and Pillar. So I can just have a full uninterrupted burst. And that intermission is in 10%. Roughly 65%. It's like 65 and 35 or something like that. And I'm going to try and find a spot where I can sit and I can solo soak 2 lines. Bosh. Here we go, 70%. Oh, it's 70%, not 65. My apologies. Now I'm going to go and take the top two statues, and I was supposed to pre-AMS, but I forgot. So I'm a fool. So I'm going to AMS midway through, but the dot is going to rip apart the AMS pretty quickly. So I don't get to, don't really get to abuse it very much. Now I'm going to wait for this to be finished as well, and then when it is, I'm going to come back and I'm going to burst. Now, I didn't really handle my Bone Grinder very well here, which is silly. I could have probably stacked that up and had it explode in its 20% frost damage, but I didn't. Naughty obbly. But we are currently sitting at 12 mil overall, but the boss is half HP, so there's still quite a long time left, which is going to drag us underneath 12 mil. It would have been cool to finish on 12 mil overall. Okay, avoid that shite. Ah, Shaman is dead. So if you didn't know, Gust of Winding into a statue will actually kill you, which the Shaman now found out. He's going to watch this. Now let's go. I can see that I'm in a safe position to do my pillar window, my Reaper window, so I'm definitely going to do that. We have the 40% now, where we need to hide. Now, because we're away from the boss a little bit, it's kind of annoying. So there's some seconds of pillar that we don't get quite utilised, but it's okay. Now we are going to pre-AMS this time and absorb the dot so we can have AMS for a little bit longer. Quite unfortunately, AMS doesn't quite last the full duration of Ritual of Woe, so you will get some last ticks there. but we have 1 minute left, and the boss is on 20% HP. This is clenchy bum time. I've got my burst coming and a potion, so I'm going to do just that. Pop all that shit, and let's see what we can do. But it is tight. We lost in total about a minute of time from 4 deaths. No bueno. Am I going to make it? I hope so. I think you guys know if I make it or not. Otherwise, this video wouldn't be here. But let's go. 30 seconds, 3%. Ooh. The mage also popped up as well, I think. Maybe the mage cooldowns came back too. So it looked like we were okay. 1%. Commit? No, not committing. Not worth it. Fuck that shit. But there we go. We finished it in time, thank God. That was close though. Very close. But there we have it. 19 halls. Some crazy damage in the middle. 70 mil burst. That is nuts. We had a Reaper's Mark crit that took us from about 25 million up to 60. And then we just pumped more and more until we got to 70. That's heavy. We could have done more as well, I think. 100%. But that was a good key. Love it. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, you want to get to know more about DK, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to like it. And then if you're interested in coaching or joining my Discord, those links are in my description. But take it easy. Catch you in the next one. Bye.